Oh, thank you. Okay, so good evening, everyone, and welcome to our fourth CITE webinar. My name is Alexandra, and I will be your moderator throughout today's session. And on behalf of the entire CITE team, I would like to thank you for joining us tonight. Some of you know us, but some of you don't. So I would just like to say that CITE is actually a European project. It stands for Climate Innovation and Tech Entrepreneurship. And it was created in response to some challenges we identified within the climate tech ecosystem, meaning that we all know that Europe has a growing number of innovative technologies, but this doesn't always equal with a successful business or with a scalable business. And this is because many climate tech innovators have a very technical background. This means that they are really good at developing a technology or testing a prototype, but they may not have so many opportunities along their professional career to develop these entrepreneurial skills, meaning to understand the market, to identify real customers, to know how to validate a business opportunity or communicate their value proposition. But at the same time, traditional vocational education programs, they do not always recognize climate tech founders and innovation teams as a specific target group. So this is how our project was born, to bridge these two worlds. So we have the climate tech innovation and the entrepreneurial education. And the result is that we created an online course, and I will quickly introduce you our platform. So this is our internet site, the project, the website. And if you click here, start the CITE Masterclass, you will see our online course. This course has been thought and has been elaborated so that you can take it at your own pace whenever you want. And it is completely free because it was developed through the CITE project. So it has been funded by the European Union. And it will always be free. So we will never ask money for you to take this course. And the course was divided into 4 modules. The market is waiting, build what people want, tell the story that sells, and get ready to launch, which is actually our 4th module, which we'll be discussing this evening. And it's actually an interactive course. So please feel free to go through our materials. And in case you have any questions, just know that here you can interact with our trained mentor. It is an AI climate tech mentor. We have trained this mentor to guide you along your climate tech journey. So feel free anytime just to download all the materials we have for you, exercises. Of course, that when going through one module to another, you will have to take a small quiz, but it's actually a simple question. It is a quiz that reflects what you should have learned from the respective module. This the live webinar. So what we are doing, what we have been actually doing this month in July, they come to complement the course. They are not intended to repeat what we developed online, but they also give you the opportunity to interact with us. I am proud to be part of the CITE team. Um, I have been working in the public sector for many years. So I'm specialized in European funds. I'm actually the technical person in front of the computer developing the idea into a project and then make sure that we receive funding for the respective project. And then I will share with you our team. Thank you, Jamal. Then we have Mr. Klaus Gründel. Klaus has worked for more than 40 years for the Ministry of Economy in the region of North Rhine-Westphalia, where he was also responsible for the training of the staff. And after that, he has dedicated his professional life to business creation and European projects. We have also Jamal Maxi, part of our team. Jamal is an environmental policy postgraduate, a former ambassador with Investors for Climate. He is a founder and pitch coach at Pitch Lounge, connecting innovators and investors, advisors, and industry communities. Jamal is also leading the setup and promotion for our CITE project and produces agri-food and AgriTech pitch events. He is also an EIT food jury member, and you will have the chance to know him as well tonight. And then we have a very important team member, Elena Suchu. Elena was nominated the first between first 99 women AgriTech global influencers. She is also the mentor of the year 2025 at Mass Challenge. She's a climate tech expert and a startup mentor. So thank you all to our experts for being here tonight and for your contribution at our CITE project. Before we begin with our agenda, I would like to quickly remind you of some practical rules. So please make sure that you have your real names displayed on Zoom. In case you don't know how to do it, just contact Jamal or Klaus to help you. We prefer that you have your videos on, and please remain muted during our webinar unless we are not in the Q&A session and you have to speak. I would also like to remind you that this is a very safe space. So no politics, discrimination, or foul language will be tolerated orally or in the chat, because any incidents of such a nature will result in the person being eliminated from the webinar. Okay, so our agenda for tonight. We will continue with Jamal presenting his activity and some future events that we are organizing for you, and then we will begin with our last module, mentored by Elena Suciu. Before doing that, in order to at least get to know each other a little bit, I would kindly like to invite you to present yourself. So briefly say your name, where you come from, and which would be the climate tech family that you are interested in, whether it's agri-tech, food tech, green chemistry, whatever. So what you are interested in. Imran, would you like to begin?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. So my name is Imran. I'm here in the UAE right now. So what I do currently is look after a 100% solar powered off-grid ice cream production facility, maybe one of the kind in the Middle East. So I'm actually here for the food agri-tech part of it, where I want to scale up this facility, let's say in a separate location, 10x, but instead of ice cream, grow mushrooms inside. So yeah, that's why I'm here and to learn from you guys. All information is very valuable. Thank you.
Thank you, Ram. Teresa, would you like to say a few words about you?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Teresa. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Terravita Global. We're a governance and evidence infrastructure company, structuring evidence for projects, making them investable and bankable, or trying to anyway, in the total climate resilient agriculture, mining, blue governance ecosystem.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let me see in the order. And Andresa, would you like to say some few words too? Because some people don't know you. Maybe Andresa cannot hear us.
Hi, my name is Andressa and I'm from Brazil. I'm chemist and I am transitioning from academia to innovation-driven environments. So I'm exploring some opportunities and I want to learn more about this entrepreneurship in climate tech and agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you, Andresa. Pelomo?
You must your
Yes.
microphone put on. Switch on.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Prosper Sumbulumu. No, I'm living in Cameroon. I'm a CEO and a founder of Prosper Fisa Group. We are an agricultural and agri-tech company. Our goal is simple. We want to provide smallholder farmers beside cocoa by supply them to genuine crop input and building an agri-tech platform, agri-tech and climate tech platform that will it is a traceability platform that helps agriculture smallholder farmer to detect that phytosanitary product or crop input are fake, because in the market that we are 50% of crop input that are in the market are genuine, are fake, not genuine, obsolete. We want to provide a solution that will help to tackle this problem. Then our solution is just simple: empower farmer through trusted input and technology. And also we are building a farm education hub that help them to know how to use crop input when. Then that's what we are building now. Then for now we are in fundraising process. We are seeking investor strategic partner who will help us to develop our solution, to have to refine our mentorship that will help us to develop our solution and scale it, because we want to start in Central region in Cameroon, going and scale nationally and go in African market. Maybe yes, someday I have conversation with some European guy who told me that even though our solution can help people living from Europe, because tech, food, agri-tech, what we are building will help every person to know that when I want to when I want to eat some food, a food, maybe cocoa, chocolate, tomato, pepper, I must be aware that the input that have been sprayed in this crop are made in Pakistan, China, India, and what is the component, what are the substance have been used to spray inside than what we are currently doing. Then now we are seeking investors strategy who will help us to scale, and we are not explicit stage. We are just validate
Yes.
our idea, then we seeking partner who can help us give us the hand to grow and scale. Then
It's
after
true.
that, we have
Europe is very strict about these rules. But anyway, welcome and thank you for your introduction. Thank you very much. Gunai, would you also like to say something about you? No. Then maybe Michael.
Hello, everybody. I was doing plastics recycling and rubber recycling in Central America for many years, and I was getting involved into also the agriculture stuff because of climate change. In this particular area of the planet is very vulnerable to climate change. So the thing to go is to make growing stuff in climate conditioning. How do you say? The plastic thing is, I don't know the exact word for this. This is what I trying to integrate, how to avoid using cutting more trees and instead of and using wood composite pieces for making affordable for everybody to make this kind of stuff. But it's uphill. It's very, very difficult. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. What about Rustam? Rustam, would you like to say something about yourself too? Rustam cannot turn on his microphone. Okay, thank you for joining us.
You got Oneza, Zaim also in.
Yes.
Valeria as well.
Valeria, would you like to present yourself?
Yes, I'm studying biotechnology in my master's, and we have a broad a subject that's like a green chemistry. So that's why I'm very interested, and I want to work in alternative proteins. So I'm also interested in the aspect of AgriTech and food technology. So that's why I thought this climate tech would be very interesting for me to hear.
For sure. Thank you very much. What about Oneza? Oneza, can you hear us?
Hi, yeah, I can hear everybody. Thank you so much for the session. I just learned about it and I wanted to see what's happening. I'm very curious about climate financing and due diligence for project development. So just here to look at what's going on, something exciting to learn.
Great. So thank you everybody for joining us. Then I hope I went through everybody. I would like to give the floor to Jamal now to present himself and the events that are the upcoming events for the startups. Jamal?
Thank you, Alexandra. Yes, I've been doing pitch lounge events for a long time with Elena as well, who's on the team and on the event today. So Pitch Lounge is a community that's connecting capital raising early stage founders with strategic advisors, investors, and customers. We help the startups to get pitch ready, both with pitch deck development support, pitch coaching, and hosting them on live events. We do this online about 2-3 times a month, but we also do it in person in a number of cities around the world: London, Berlin, Amsterdam, Dubai, Riyadh, etc. And we're looking to come to a city near you. So let us know if you want us to also come and support you within a conference in your country. We've also run in-person expos in Dubai, in Riyadh, Amsterdam, Berlin, which is a larger number of people. And we run pitch competitions and the like, both for large award money, but also in-kind services and support. We had an online event yesterday, which was the AgTech Pitch Lounge, which did feature Elena on the investor panel and me moderating. It was a wonderfully interactive session. We also had Teresa presenting at the end of the session as well, her platform. And it was, we hosted 4 startups, each pitching for 5 to 7 minutes. And then every startup then had a period of 18 to 20 minutes with the investor advisor panel, which is quite a generous amount of time for a public pitch event, where ordinarily a demo event is quite fast-paced conveyor belt format. So you can actually catch up on demand on our events on our YouTube channel, which you can find at youtube.com/@pitchlounge. And all of our events in our AgTech series and our other themes are available there for watching on demand. We don't publish our group feedback events. They're the ones we don't live stream, and they're from startups that really need, maybe it's their first time ever pitching to investors, and they need some very candid feedback. And sometimes that feedback we don't want to be shared publicly. And also some startups come even in a new investment round and present a new investor deck, which hasn't yet been test driven. So they want some feedback on whether the positioning and the investment strategy and the growth plan are, as per the experts think, is effective and wise. We have some upcoming events, as Alexandra alluded to. And we are doing a number of events per month across not only food and beverage retail, but also food tech B2B, which covers food science, ag tech, and a number of other areas of food tech. In August, you can check out all our events that are coming up. We're going to start publishing them by tomorrow at pitchlounge.net/pitch events. The August event schedule, we're going to do a female founder pitch lounge for the first time in 2 years. It's been a little while since we've done that event series, and we're going to do a food and beverage themed one, quite unsurprisingly. That's going to be on the 6th of August, just next week. Then we've got that's not going to be live streamed. Then we've got food and beverage pitch lounge on the 12th of August, which will be our next live stream edition. Then we've got a new concept, which is 180 pitch lounge, where we're going to have maximum 3-minute pitches, which will be cut off at 3 minutes. And we're going to do an event specifically for the US market and an event specifically for the India market in August. And the reason for that is that Europe and the Middle East start to shut down and hit the beach or hit the shade if you're in the Middle East. So that's a new concept we're launching, where we can really also give the startups a lot of exposure on social media because of the maximum length of the pitch being under 3 minutes. Then we've got our Food Tech Pitch Lounge Latin edition, so Latin America focused pitch event, which is going to feature a panel interested in investment in Latin America or based in Latin America, and have startups who are also based there or actively trading or expanding to Latin America. We had that last year around the same time, and it was highly successful. And so we're doing a repeat of that edition. So that's our August schedule. A number of events also kick off in September. We have our group feedback event at the beginning of the month. Then an AgTech Pitch Lounge comes back again, live streamed, and our beverage pitch lounge at the end of September. A very, very lively and popular series, the beverage pitch lounge, something that Elena's also involved in. As I said before, we also run in-person events. Our next large kind of medium-sized conference, which is 200 and 300 people in size, is taking place in Dubai on the 17th of November at the Millennium Hotel in downtown. We're also doing an event in London on the 16th of March. We've got lots of, we've already signing up a lot of very significant buyers and distributors and investors. If you're interested in that event, we've got more speaking opportunities, marketplace opportunities, and even opportunities for you to book investor and buyer meetings. So if you're interested, just contact me in the chat and I can explain more. If you want to pitch with us, you can do so and apply on our website, We can give you some feedback on your pitch deck and let you know what, based on your timeline and how much you're raising and the state of your pitch deck, we can advise it accordingly which events coming up maybe are most suitable for you. So you can just check out pitchlounge.net/startups. I'll put that link in the chat now. If you want to apply to pitch, we'd be lovely to host you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jamal, for this introduction. Now let's start our last mentoring webinar. The webinar number 4, Get Ready to Launch. I would kindly like to invite Elena to begin our lesson.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I will be your lead mentor for this last session. This is session 4 out of 2 weeks. So we were running 2 weeks on 2 sessions per week. I'm really happy to start closing this with beautiful. Do you have the slides, please?
Yeah, I'll share.
Sorry.
I want everyone to see a wonderful face and for you to engage with the crowd first. But I can share now. You're ready. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, because I was worried. It's like, what is
No.
happening?
I got it.
Sorry to get in between. So yeah, Get Ready to Launch is go-to market and funding readiness for climate tech founders. It's just a wrap up actually from our 3 sessions. And I can't wait to tell you more about what does it really mean to be ready to launch. In a nutshell, I just want to present you with one idea. Imagine spending 7 years developing revolutionary zero carbon cement. The strength is perfect, emissions are almost zero, and you leave the lab convinced the market has been waiting for you. Instead, you discover a canyon. On one side sits your working prototype. On the other side sits your first commercial contract, and you imagine it's going to be signed and start to execute on your beautiful solution. Everything in between is a lot of back and forth, actually. The reality is much different. And there you start to confront yourself with the climate tech value of that. You heard about it. You probably heard it in our 3 lessons before. We mentioned about the value of that a lot. Today's lesson is about crossing that canyon and find your solid path to success. First slide, please. So, as we have been talking here about the lab mindset, the scientific angle and lens, building in the lab, and actually the entrepreneurial skills that you need to have and develop in order to be successful in running a business. It's all about start with the invention, you explain technical features, and you confront your audience with dense data. You build your pitch deck, and you build a lot of dense data into your pitch deck. View sustainability as a compliance add-on are also something that you grasp somehow, and you add a lot of these regulations into your pitch deck. You look at the buyer, you have 1 or 2, 3, 4 phone calls with a potential client, and then you realize that something is missing. So in a nutshell, from innovation-led thinking, you need to fine-tune your pitch deck, and you need to fine-tune your commercial proposal in a way, in a sense, that you get the demand-led thinking. And let me also ask you one simple question. If the technology works, which probably does in a lab. Why isn't that enough? Why you are not signing that first contract that you were thinking that it will go smoothly? So I must say, climate tech is different from SaaS. In software, you can often improve adoption with better marketing or design. Even I heard in so many cases, yeah, we are doing an upgrade on our website, and then with a line of code, you have changed completely the direction of a software. In climate tech, you are changing physical systems if you need to change. You are changing supply chains. You are changing industrial behavior. It's a lot heavier than anywhere else, fintech, blockchains, imagine that. Scientists reduce technical uncertainty, actually. But then when you come into the mindset of an entrepreneur, if you are a founder of a company, you must also reduce commercial uncertainty. As we have mentioned here before in our previous classes, technology answers, can we build it? And we say, yes, we have tested in the lab. But the market asks, what should we change to adopt your solution? Next slide, please. So the market speaks before investors do. You know to read the signals as we have previously passed through these stages. And I'm convinced that you already understand that there is demand in the market, but you need to capture it in a very smart and agile way. And for this reason, I want you to imagine you are an engineer at a mature cement company in Stuttgart, and a young founder or a founder of a young company offers you a new cement with saying lower carbon emission feature. And this is exactly what your company is about to do and to adopt in the next 5 years, because we are forced to change a lot of things, a lot of policy because of the European Green Deal. And for you, it looks promising, his proposal. That you look at that email that you have received, and you invite that company for a pilot or for a test. And it looks promising until you learn it takes 4 extra days for that cement to cure. If that delays your production line or construction project that you have, construction plant, I'm not sure how you're going to respond to that founder, to that new solution, to that startup. Because for you, at a mature company, at a corporate side, you can't go forward and encourage that pilot. You can't encourage that contract to buy that cement from the new young company because it is greener. You normally and naturally ask yourself, can I trust this without risking my job, first of all? And this is exactly what is happening in Europe. We love all what the European Union is proposing and doing. But from these policies and from these regulations and from the university spin-offs and what else, patent clusters and all these accelerators, there is a huge, huge gap to actually what is happening at the corporate side. Because there we deal with human behavior. As I said, people, if they say yes from the R&D department, they are jeopardizing their jobs. They are risking that tomorrow they will not be there anymore because nobody wants to be at risk. And with that being said, please pass me to next slide. The next logical question would be, does a great macro policy, macroeconomy story automatically create a great company? Because we hear that we need to adopt the European Green Deal, and that's a priority. We know that the industry is forced to transition. For example, as I mentioned about the cement, in the real estate, in the manufacturing, in the food tech, in AgriTech, as we are a few of us here that we know this segment a little bit deeper. So yeah, there is a specific market problem, but in the real life, we need to take, and then I'm coming again, as I consider here, there are a lot of scientists and a lot of people who would like to apply some, let's say, new ways of doing things and navigating through these phases and actually build a company that is closing successfully deals and is closing successfully investments. So yeah, that's a great macro story, automatically creates a great company. With that being said, I don't think so. And many founders say the Green Deal guarantees our market because they hear it so much. And we try to be over optimistic because we are over optimistic in the startup world. Yeah, we have to think that everything will go. At the end, we manage to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But then it's not quite easy to consider in 1 year time I'm building a company. So industries don't buy the product. If you think, yeah, in real estate, they are obliged to implement these new regulations and my product will be successful, doesn't really work that way. Human beings need conviction, and I'm going to mention about this building trust at the investor level and also at the corporate level. It's a big factor in having a successful trajectory with building a pilot with a corporate. So somewhere inside an organization, one procurement manager or sustainability director must decide to choose your solution instead of staying where they are at, or instead of closing a new contract with a similar product like yours with someone else. Next slide, please. So why startup fail in general? So what risk we must test in order to predict some, let's say, bumps in the road, to understand that we should not go too far in building a product that will not be competitive enough for the market. We have the product risk, we have the customer risk, and we have the market risk. And all these risks are actually jeopardizing the value we are proposing to our customer, we are proposing to our investor, because in a nutshell, we need to make sure we have an asset that we are going to see it in 5 year time. A company valuation could be from 50 million to 100 million in climate tech, in AgriTech the same. It's probably important to understand that crossing the value of debt, it's the technology that needs a survival mechanism. And we can't really say we are successful until we are successful, until we have the contract in our hand with a big customer, until we have a pre-seed round secure, the money is there from our investor, or we are bootstrapping and we are pairing some of the funds with non-dilutive funding and subsidies. So we will never know, even we do a lot of planning, until we have that, until we have secured that, until the day we have seen the contract signed and the money in the bank, everything can go very wrong, and we need to be prepared for that. Technology gets into the valley, but then trust gets you out of the valley. So I'm encouraging you in all these segments that you see here on this slide, the product risk. Can you build the right solution? Here you need to have a lot of question about problems and solution, and what do you see as a problem at the end customer. So this is really where you have to dig deeper. You have seen that approach from lesson 2 and lesson 3, and then the customer risk. You need to have a lot of question and answers with your customer, building a pilot, maybe a co-pilot. And then the market risk, is this a viable business? Are you aligned with the right pricing? Are you proposing the right value for the contracts to be actually doable? And on the long run, you need to secure scale. This is also something that, can you take me please to the next slide? That I wanted to go a little bit more into detail is who is really buying. You must ask, who is this for? Define the specific human segment, not a broad industry. As I mentioned, it's not the industry. In the beginning, we are now in the hypothesis timing. We are in an ideation period of our starting point for our business. This is why we have all the cards in the air, and we have many directions that we can take, many approaches. And as we speak, we have to narrow down all the possibilities. But then you narrow down there, you can find the real pain, and where you can identify what urgent pain does it solve. Define the specific value loss in money, time wasted, or regulatory, as I said, with the cement example. If the company will not be happy with what you propose, you have to go back, reiterate your technology, and come with a new proposal. This is all about the value you create. Even though the first pilot or the first proposal was something that was strong from the technology's point of view, if the customer needs something else, as I mentioned it before here, you better have a compromise, talk with your team, and build what your first customer would be likely to pay for. And then on the long run, have this idea that you could reiterate and come back and really propose something in 2-3 years that you actually wanted right now, which is not possible because probably to be too costly, or the customer is not ready quite yet to adopt. So your customer is the individual who signs the purchase order. That's very important. And you have to really take these steps, this customer journey, and build the real ideal customer profile, one profile, priority profile, and accept the risks, understand their incentives, understand their fears, understand their success metrics, which is key. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this is the value proposition. Actually, we went very deep into this. In my opinion, I would say you should build more. Probably you come to a value proposition that is going to change 5 to 10 times in 1 year or even more, because the target customer may change. So for the target customer, we solve specific problems by delivering this clear benefit while improving on current approach. this you can iterate and change, but then if you keep this format, it will be a very good format and it will work at all times. Customers respond to outcomes really, not to technical specifications and not to technical sheets. That is very important to understand. And I believe one idea here will be to learn faster than you build. And I must say, and I will say it again, evidence beats perfection. Let me challenge you with a question actually. Imagine you are launching a climate tech startup. Which position would you take? Position one would be success starts with macro trends. You will follow market trends and you like the macro numbers and the statistics and the market sizes that are global. And you think that if you find a big market, there you will find success. But if regulations, carbon pricing, and policies create the market, then the opportunity will naturally follow. This is what you will say. That's one mindset. And then another mindset, another position would be success starts with one customer. Unless one real person changes the way they work and buy my solution, no regulation will save my company. So you don't believe that much into the trends. You just focus on building one solution for one customer and you make it work and you make them sign the first contract, file the contract. And you are a strong believer that building this trust with your first customer will secure the success of your company. So who do you think will be successful? The first person who believes in the global market trends, or the person who believes in building trust with the first customer? To have the first pilot, and that's we are breaking the ice. So I must say, in reality, you need both. That's the right approach would be you need both approaches. Somehow it's a dance. You need to balance that you believe, of course, you define your market, but then you also, in the same time, you have to zoom in and zoom out all the time. And you have to start very early on, have this value proposition, iterate it and change it 10 times a day if you want. But then you build that trust with your first customer. That's also very important. So you can't go it only one mindset, thinking only from one lens. It will not support your strategy for the long run. Next slide, please. Yeah, so we are building, but then we need to build, we need to measure, we need to learn, and we need to redesign. That's, I would say, the recipe of success. What can I say? Customers rarely buy the impact, the sustainability side of your product. As I said, with the green cement, it will never work. Even someone here, and I think in lesson 2 at our Q&A, asked me, how can I pitch my business? Because if I'm pitching just the product and the functionality of the product, people will ask me about the impact. But then when I pitch about the impact, they will say, but tell me more about the technical part of your product. Do you have a patent? Do you have this? Do you have that? So I say, the sustainability is something that you have to consider mandatory when you are in climate tech, because climate tech means sustainability technology. to correct the mistakes of the past, what we have actually done with our eyes closed in the industrialization era from years early on, from the 30s to now. There are things that we are now in the situation that we have to change, and we have to course correct a lot of things that we shouldn't have done as a society and economy in the first place. And that's my personal belief. This is why climate tech exists as a vertical. So customers buy at lower cost, coming back to our slide here. They buy lower risk, they buy compliance or higher productivity for them, like for example with the cement that didn't cure that fast that it was expected. That's something very bad for that company's productivity. So the truth is that sustainability opens the door, but the business value closes the deal. So you need to prove that your product, your new solution, is increasing the value at your customer, at the productivity level, at the sustainability level, at the logistic level. So you always have to assess on a bigger scale and many other levels. I'm not sure what your industry is, the vertical is, so I can't go too much into detail. But this is kind of the dance we need to take into consideration and we need to be aware of. Next slide, please. So as we think in terms of sustainability as compliance, we learn that we read the map of European Union grants and European Union accelerator programs, and treating environmental impact as an add-on is something that it happened many years, but I see it less and less right now because companies finally realize that we can become profitable having the environmental impact mindset and focus on, and also we can be profitable if we are sustainable. And I see, maybe I'm too optimistic, but I see more and more that the cost centers or reporting in this Green Deal, European Green Deal policy is more and more about capital attraction, and the impact measurement data unlocks impact-driven capital and grants. This is good news. And people believe more and more in accessing the grants, and there is already the know-how. Like, for example, our course right now is just proof of how agile ecosystems become. Then there is the risk mitigation, which is always something that we need to address and we need to be aware of. And the sustainability as a commercial advantage is something that we need to build our ecosystem in order to access advisors, in order to access good entries into accelerators, to know exactly the times when the accelerators is opening a program, to apply for those programs. And this is the way you build your green skills. And of course, that is a magnet to attracting money for your company, getting a new job, getting capital funding for your company. Yeah, that's actually the most important part. And I will encourage you to look more into the green skills, actually, There are a lot of other programs. And here we just come into the realization that climate tech actually needs green skills more than other verticals. Next slide, please. So in terms of how we see the realization of value of our company, we see it in stages. We see the seed stage, which is the first stage when we prove the science. We have the instruments, and you will find a lot of support through European, from the AIT, from the European Union. And then you have a goal, the technical validation in a control environment. You have the validation stage where you prove the market, and your goal is the evidence of market pull and the user feedback and the pilot result. And then you have the scale side. When you prove the business, you have the validated product ready and for commercial scaling. In this part, you will have the possibility to access funds at the moment of all the stages. And in the seed stage, probably you will access the accelerators and the grants that are proven for TRL 3-4 to TRL 5-6. And that is also something that I encourage you to go back into our course and see probably lesson 2 and 3 about that. Next slide, please. Yes, so the investor readiness, what convinces investors actually? That's very important question. Is always one thing that convinces investors. We are not at the Q&A here, but I would really like to hear everyone's opinion. What convinces investors in one word? So what convinces investors actually is evidence. Patents reduce technical risk, pilots reduce commercial risk. We were talking about patents and pilots here. So yeah, when we already secure a pilot, it means there is monetization on the way. It means you identify revenue channels. It means you kind of validated your business model. And then you have a map to how you're going to scale in the next 3, 4, 5 years. You know already that if you're a TRL 4, 5, normally there you validate a pilot and that you reduce commercial risk. You know already how things will go when you are TRL 6, 7. But then investors are not easy on startups. There might be a very good patent strategy. Then they can see there is a very reduced risk with these patents because you might file 3, 4, 5 in climate tech. We know that is kind of what's happening and what's needed. Yeah, so the pilots reduce commercial risk, as I said, but then investors want patents reduce risk, they want pilots, they want both. And the strongest answer to an investor is evidence that customer already want your solution. And for that to be proven, you need actually to tick all these boxes, all these 5 boxes here. The problem framed as a specific value loss. The customer, they are losing money, they are wasting energy. There is a technical gap, they are not able to innovate at scale, so they would work with a startup for that. The customer definition must be, as I mentioned, you need to have your priority customer. It's not the ideal customer that you need to consider. The priority one is the one with the most probably favorable contract that you can get the fastest way, so the low-hanging fruits. Then you would go for traction evidence. As I mentioned, it is very important to get out and be agile. We don't look for perfection in climate tech. There is an important need for tangible proof. That's evidence, as I mentioned, in one word. This is exactly what investors are looking for. And what are these, let's say, few points of proof? That would be feedback, that would be validated tests, that would be pilot data. But in a nutshell, probably a form of monetization. So if someone is willing to offer you a payment for your first pilot, that is enough to consider you have a minimum viable product or a proof of concept. Yeah. And then the go-to-market strategy, it's a clear entry plan aligned with the macro market signals. As I mentioned, we are talking about EU Green Deal because in the format of the EU Green Deal, you will find all the verticals that are targeting a lot of funds, and you can access the most funding opportunities through this platform. And then you align your funding needs with, let's say, the next 18 months of cash burn, and that would be your runway. Actually, it is very important to be able to structure in your ask slide, as we have seen this last week, or no, this week early on Tuesday. It is very important to have a clear definition of use of proceeds, of use of funds. And it is very important to know your cash burn per month, and it's very important to know your runway. As a benchmark, you will take a runway 18 months. So the next raise will be from now in 18 months, and this has to be communicated to investors. I would not say what type of capital funding you access first from what type of investors, because nowadays it is kind of changing. I would say bootstrapping would be from 25K, so it's your own money, 25K to 50K, it depends, and depends also from country to country, but that's kind of the benchmark. And this is only for, let's say, securing a minimum testing for your product, and probably you come out of a university spin-off, so that the costs are taken over and are carried by these accelerators or spin-off labs. But then it is important to have skin in the game. This is why I mentioned about bootstrapping. So we can't predict that everything will be financed by technical cluster or accelerator. We must also consider bringing our own capital funding into the business from early on. This is why, because investors will like to see that we have skin in the game. So as I mentioned, you will have a blending finance strategy, and you're probably already thinking of the grant you want to access and the subsidies for your company. But I'm telling you, it is important to have your own funds invested also in the business. Yeah, can I have next slide, please? So how do you cross the valley of death? As I mentioned, there are these two approaches that the macro trends, some people think that will save the business because we apply the bigger market, the global market, and we will find a way to find the right customers. Or you would go more with the customer validation, explaining why your company will win in that market, and you will build more trust with the first priority customer who is for you. The science is telling us what is possible from the lab point of view, but then we always need to learn to adapt and to be agile, to change. That's the main concern here, how fast you can build a product, but you build the first version of it. And if it's not perfect, don't worry, we don't look for perfection. Business proves what is value actually, and then together with the innovation and together with the technology, we are ready to scale. We are ready because the innovation is strong. We are ready because the evidence, the skill, the story, the market path, and the funding stage are aligned. So the bridge is built and the market is waiting. And thank you for your attention, and I'm open for question or for a pause. It's about to decide what you're gonna do.
Thank you very much, Elena, for this insights. I'm kindly encouraging you to take the word. I noticed that during while Elena was presenting the lesson, some of you had questions. So please raise your hand who would like to start. Imran, you still want to say something?
Yeah.
Okay, please
Yeah.
do.
No, I was just taking a minute to remember what the question was. That's all. So it's like this. Now we are going from a standpoint of, okay, from a university level, leveling up, and then doing a pilot to the next step, to the next step, to the next. What if there is a solution for a industry where the demand outweighs the supply, and it's like people want it right now? And for this, and there is a scalability model, but it doesn't start from a small point of, let's say, like how Elena was mentioning about 25,000 euros or something like this. Let's say it was in a number like 10, 15 million euros. That is like a smaller scale. How does someone go about addressing this kind of a scenario where the minimum, scope
So you
would
are
be
talking about the capital funding? Are you talking about the capital funding needed to build your first product, first pilot? Capital funding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you think that you need more capital funding than 25K? Is this the question? You will need to build that from the ground up to bring to market to launch a soft launch. For a soft launch, you need more than 25K, right? This is what you're saying.
Let's say this way. When it comes to sustainability, some things, let's say in AgriTech, agriculture is a very price-sensitive environment, and to capitalize or to show a value, even for an investor at a smaller scale, sometimes you're not able to, let's say, realize that value proposition of bringing this solution
As I
and
mentioned,
ensure people self.
sustainability is a very abstract word. So can I understand a little bit more in detail, or let me tell you one thing. So in your country, you may need to go and check the subsidies, if some financial support from the government or non-dilutive funding from some grants. That in a nutshell, you pair that. So you get subsidies, you get grants, you get a space where you can still work and you don't need to pay your own lab. They should give you for that sustainability, even though it's very abstract. We don't need to go into more details, but then I can tell you all these grants and subsidies, this is non-dilutive funding. So it means for every day that you are paid, you have paid the rent or somebody else paid the rent for your company, that is contribution in kind. So that really adds on your company valuation. This has to do a lot with, let's say, in biotech, there are a lot of contracts with research centers where those centers are bringing in their scientists and they work for hours and hours for that biotech for many years, for 3, 4, 5 years. And nobody's paying them because it's part of the research institute. And then what I do there as a CFO, I go and I start counting full-time employees worked for that biotech company for 5 years, how much actually the biotech should have paid. Hypothetically, somebody has to pay it, paid it. They are paid, but not directly from the startup. So from your perspective, if you go in such a setup, you always have to have somewhere a dashboard where you keep track on contribution in kind, all the things that you got access to that you haven't been paying for, but normally you should pay for. And that is really adding, and it's a mirror on the timeline you have worked for that company, for your solution to be developed. Like maybe 1 year and a half, nothing happened, but you have been working on. People are coming into that lab. That lab should pay rent for. So that's all contribution in kind, and that's the value of your company. When you have the value of your company, while you have the value of what you have built from, I don't know, 2 years ago to today, it's already probably 500,000 paid. You should have paid hypothetically, but it's contribution in kind. You didn't pay. You go with this 500,000 to the first investor and you say, my company is worth 1 million, let's say. It's almost nothing yet validated, but you can show hours worked, tests done, people coming to work in that environment. You can show that it's building, it's in the making, it's in the process. And that company valuation is very important because you can ask one angel investor or a very early stage venture capital firm or a family office. This is what I'm saying. I'm not going that much into detail because now it's really changing. Family offices are coming strong, are coming forward. They want to invest. They want access to early stage innovation because we have seen what is happening on the stock exchange. There is no underlying value. At least here, we don't have everything validated, but we are going towards validating. So we are still building something more valuable than the stock exchange. Family offices are sick and tired of the old asset classes. So coming back to you, so you have the company valuation, you go with that number to your first investor, say my company is valued this much, 1 million, I need 200,000. You give 20% of your company to the first investor who wants to step in. you stay with 80% and you build forward. You continue building until the next race, which I say is you should think of it in 18 months. If it's a prize round, if it's a convertible loan or a safe note, maybe as American style, there are many options. But you have to start counting. Start with understanding the value of your company.
Okay, super. Start counting. This is what I have to start now.
Evidence, and that's evidence. What I say, what investors want to see, it's evidence in one word. Just evidence that you have built, evidence that something is in the making.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you.
Welcome, Imran.
And please remember that you always have the possibility to develop and build partnerships through EU-funded projects. And this is very, it's really not complicated. The European Union offers many possibilities for you to join forces with other
Nationalities.
other peers, other people doing more or less the same thing like you, or maybe you see a company where you can learn from, and you can build a partnership and do some know-how exchange. That is really, I really encourage you to do it. And a lot of people do not know it. Also, the Erasmus Plus project, the European Erasmus Plus project, is designed to actually to fund this sort of partnerships. Most people know the Erasmus Plus program for students, for education, but this program also it is also suitable for such partnerships, and projects can receive funding from 60,000 to 4 million euros if you join also with partners from other EU countries and involve also the Chamber of Commerce or maybe training institutions. So you can always join forces with somebody stronger from whom you have a lot to learn.
Understood. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Any other questions? I don't see anyone raising the hand. So, okay, if we don't have any other questions from you, I would kindly like to invite Mr. Grundel, Klaus, to say a few words to close our events at the end of our events. Klaus, would you like to take the floor and say a few words?
I tried. My English is not so well as yours, you know. But good evening also from my side. My name is Klaus-Dieter Gründel. I am delighted by the interest shown on our event for webinars. Who would think this? This project is personally important to me because over a long period, I had the opportunity to help shape the business landscape in my Ministry of Economic Affairs of the state of North Rhine-Westphalia. That is the biggest state in Germany, not Bavaria, not Baden-Württemberg, it's North Rhine-Westphalia. Supporting startups has always played a key part in this work, as well as fostering international business connections. For example, I helped Czechoslovakia and Hungary and so on to come into the EU. What should be more logical than combining these two aspects and supporting startups on an international level? You have already made our team. Working with this team is not only interesting, but also enjoyable. A special thank to my colleagues, Jamal, especially for your very good service. Not only for their outstanding professional work, but also for the excellent way we collaborate. It was very fine work. We hope that the information shared in this webinar proves useful and helps make the step into your self-employment easier. Some words to the organization. Every participation will get a certificate, but therefore it is necessary that I have the full name and the email address. I don't have it from all. So the end is, thank you for joining us and have a wonderful evening, success for your future, and have a nice week.
Thank you very much, Klaus. I really encourage you to go online on our platform and download all the materials we have uploaded there to help you along your climate tech journey. And in case you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to us. And I would also encourage you to offer us some feedback, because this free content that is available online can always be updated. So in case you think that you would like to know more regarding these 4 modules, please feel free to just to write us, and we'll make sure that we will develop whatever you are interested in. Thank you, everybody, for tonight. As Klaus said, each of you will get a certificate of participation for the webinar you attended. And thank again to my whole team, to Elena, to Jamal and Klaus. And I wish you all good luck in your climate tech journey. See you soon at our events. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.